This is the 2027 Chrysler Pacifica Limited. Did Chrysler make the right changes? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Here on the front end is definitely an area where you can see the changes, a dramatic difference. And we're going to start right here with this area. In fact, what I'm going to do is actually hit the button on the remote so you can see these lights in action. You can see that happening right there. So a totally different design right here compared to what we saw in the past. You will have your projector beam style LED headlights, low and high beams, but as we work our way to the center, you're going to see a really big change. In fact, a couple of things that are different. Focused in this area right here. Number one, this area is now illuminated. I know you can't necessarily see that, but you can see the lighting elements. Everything is LED, but that's also the Chrysler logo. You no longer have the name Chrysler on that logo anymore. So changes there, a little bit more squared off. You can see the lower and the upper grille areas right here, and the red hot pearl coat exterior color definitely looks good here in the bright Louisiana sunshine, and you'll still have the same look here with the other areas for the most part as far as that goes. This is a refresh, not a full redesign, and there will be some new wheel designs as well for 2027, and we're going to have our 18-inch wheels. In this case, this model is front wheel drive, but all-wheel drive is available. Your side view mirrors, turn signal indicators will be built in. They're heated and power adjustable with blind spot monitoring built in. They're also going to be power folding. The button on our body colored door handles right here on the front and rear doors, or side doors here, I should say front door and the sliding side door. That is your passive entry. So you push that button and you can lock and unlock the interior. Makes it very nice. We can also hit the button right there for our power sliding side doors. Makes things nice and easy, or you can just pull on that handle right there if you want to. There is a panoramic sunroof up top. That's nothing new, but for those who want that, well, that's good to have that option with this particular van. Shark fin antenna up top, and then our rear roof spoiler. We will have the exposed rear window wiper, and there's a better look at that new logo that Chrysler now has, just as we saw with that design with the head or the lights on the front on that middle section of the grille. And we'll have our lighting elements back here, the Pacifica badging, and obviously our limited trim level. And as you can see, we're going to have one of the multiple sensors on around for our parking sensors, all that good stuff. And here's something else. Now, this is not anything new. I'm just going to kick my foot under the bumper right there. Notice it takes a couple of seconds, so don't let that fool you. But something else that has changed, here's what it is right here. Now you're going to have the power adjustable rear door. So we're going to move back just a little bit so I can show you all of this. So notice it didn't open very high. I'm going to open that all the way, and to set that wherever you want to, whether it's too high or if you want to bring it down a little bit lower like that, you can do that. But what I'm going to do is move it all the way up right there to make sure everything is set properly. You just hold this button down. You're going to listen for the beeps, which shouldn't take too long. Kind of quiet, but there it is. So we're going to step back out of the way. I'm going to push that button and close this rear door back down. And then when I open it back up, you're going to see that it's going to go and open all the way, as opposed to not opening, but about, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the way where I had it set before. This is one of those changes for 2026. If you buy, or excuse me, 2027. If you buy a 27 Pacifica, that is standard across all models. Under the hood is the naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6. It makes 287 horsepower, 262 pounds-feet of torque. If you go front wheel drive, 0 to 60 is in 7.3 seconds. All wheel drive is going to be 8.3 seconds. Top speed about 120 miles per hour. And all of that is mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission. Let's move our way over here to the window sticker, which you can actually see decently well. Here are your potential MPGs: 19 city, 28 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And your gas tank details up next. You're going to have a 19-gallon gas tank. On a full tank of gas in the city, you should be able to drive about 361 miles. That number will jump to 532 miles out on the highway and 418 miles combined. Your towing capacity comes in at 3,500 pounds, and depending on how you set things up here in the rear cargo area, your cargo capacity ranges between 32.3 cubic feet up to 87.5 up to 140.5. That's a lot of space. And speaking of space, I love this area right here because it does give you a lot of extra space. If you have something taller that maybe won't fit on the floor, you can put it down there and have that extra space. But obviously you can come back here and lower these seats. So here's how you're going to do that. We're going to lower our headrests first. This you don't have to mess with as long as it's all the way down. And right here is where you go ahead and pull everything down. We bring that down just like that. Now it is actually advantageous to go ahead and put the seat belt right there. That makes it easier to deal with everything where that is concerned. I'd put the seat belt like this. Let's do that the right way so it's not, the buckle's not in the way. But there you go. Now we're going to bring this seat down as well. And like I said, that's all going to fit right there. So that helps out where that is concerned. And here's the big advantage to having the seat belt right here like this. It'll get all kinds of tangled up in there regardless, but it catches on the buckle. But when it's in there, it's actually a little bit easier to deal with. But I like how easy this is to handle. And all you have to do to put everything back in place is pull on the piece right there. We bring the headrest back up and you're good to go where that's concerned. There is a 12-volt power outlet right here if you happen to need it. All right, let's talk about the second and third rows. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is hop into the second row. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring this seat down and bring this seat up just like this. That's going to allow me to hop on back here and take advantage of the space, which there is a decent amount of space here. We've got a USB port, a couple of cup holders, and some storage space right here. The air conditioning vents, I like that they're in the roof line right there. That makes everything so much better. Plus we have our lights right here. If we want to take advantage of that, I know you probably can't see that, but it is on. And there actually is a decent amount of leg space back here. The seats come back to about right here. But overall, I like the room back here, and these seats do actually recline if you want them to, and they go way back. As you can see, there is a release right down there that I used to make the seats recline like that. Now let's talk about the second row or middle row area. First of all, there's your panoramic sunroof. I told you about that earlier. That front portion will open, and you do have the power shade that can be drawn forward or back depending on your needs. Now, something that's really nice here, with the Honda Odyssey that the Pacifica obviously competes with, you can remove all of the middle row seats. You have to remove them all by hand. The middle seat weighs about 30 to 40 pounds. These outboard seats in the Odyssey weigh about 70 to 80 pounds and can be a little bulky for some people. So here's what I like. These are the stow and go seats. We're going to get the floor up and out of the way like that. And then all we have to do is bring this area down. We're going to pull up on this lever, and then you shove that down until it locks in place. Make sure it is locked in place, and then all you have to do is bring your floor back down just like that. And this whole area is actually more useful because when you take the seats out of the Odyssey, you still have all of the mounting brackets and everything right here exposed. You can't really take those out. So I like that all you have is a floor right here. Now, to get that back out, not a big deal. We're going to pull on this strap, the release right there, put that back in place, put the seat back in place, and then we bring this in. Just got to make sure everything's lined up okay, and it goes down just fine. We're going to put that headrest back up. I'm going to hop inside. There is a button right there. A couple of different ways you can open and close these doors, and you also have the privacy shade that can be put in place if so desired. And something that I know I desire is right here. Let's turn that way down because it is hot today in Northwest Louisiana. Getting into the 90s for the first time this year. And fan speed, you've got all your different controls right there for everything to do with your air conditioning. And as far as connectivity goes, here's your USB connectivity on the rear of the driver and passenger seats. You're going to have that in both areas. We also have the center console here, just like that. There's your drawer. Quite a bit of space in there. So if you're wondering about cup holders and storage space, that is where that is located. The sticker price at Hebert's Town & Country is $50,880. Let's see what else you get for that price. Now, I didn't show you the remote earlier, the key fob, but here it is. So you're going to have lock, unlock, remote start. You can open and close the power tailgate and your power sliding side doors. All of that's going to be here, a panic button, and then you've got the button right there that allows you to get out your mechanical key. There is a lock on the door handle on the driver's side. If the battery in the key fob dies or the battery in your Pacifica dies, then you can actually take advantage of that mechanical key that way. Let's see what else we have. We're going to have our lights right here. As far as that goes, you can open and close the power tailgate here. If you want to lock your doors out there, you can keep that power function from working with the outside handle right there. Open and close the power doors right there. There is a sunglass holder right here, and a conversation mirror is going to be here as well. It's kind of dirty, but you can have conversations with whoever's in the back seat, and they can see your really nice eyes or your angry eyes, depending on what's going on. And then we'll move our way down. We're going to go over and see our contrast stitching. We do have the black on black interior here, and your white contrast stitching is there. We've got our traditional glove box. We never find any gloves in there. We also have to find the handle. There we go. And you can see we don't rehearse that, but there you go. On the passenger side door panel, you've got the controls for your power locks, the power window, and the upper and the lower door bins will be there too. You also have the door bins on the rear doors as well. There's power sliding side doors. One thing you won't find on the passenger side is what we have here. Our settings for seat memory. We've got everything for our power windows, one touch down, one touch up. At all four doors. If you want to lock those windows, you push that button down, your lock and unlock buttons, everything for your power side view mirrors, and that button in the center, there is what I was telling you about earlier. You've got that power feature right there to power fold your side view mirrors if you want to. Now, we're going to have everything here for our lighting controls, all that good stuff. You can set that to auto and you don't have to worry about it. You can drop the lever right here and you can adjust your tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. Everything for cruise control over here. We can go through different pieces of information with the arrow keys right here, depending on what you want to see and what you need to know about. It's all going to be here, so quite a few different things. A pretty nice sporty look, that's for sure. Heated steering wheel, and we're also going to have the front and rear window wiper controls right there, and your turn signal indicators. Now you do have the turn signal activated view. If you want to take advantage of that, that's going to be here as well. And we're going to move our way over and go to the center screen. Now, I wanted to show you something very interesting here. Now, you do have physical controls down here for your air conditioning. However, to control your heated and ventilated seats, you're going to take advantage of the screen to do that. Built-in navigation, you've got quite a few things here. Depending on what you want to do and how you want to set things up, you can do that. You've got radio, we've got comfort, as you already saw. Everything for the heated steering wheel is right there. You can turn that on, turn that off, whatever you need to do with that. I sure don't want that on right now. Heated and ventilated seats, all of it is going to be there. And navigation will be here as well. We already showed you that on the smaller section of the screen, everything for your phone. We can come right here to vehicle. There's your surround camera if you want to see that. Now we have cameras everywhere, as you can see. So we've got our front and rear view cameras. There's your front view. There is the overhead view. You also have that view in the rear right there, and you can zoom in if you want to. And when you're finished with that screen, you can come back out of that. Hit that one more time, and then here are our blind spot views that I was telling you about earlier, that turn signal activated view. This is how it's going to look. So you can see what's in your blind spot. It's going to make things a little bit easier. We also have our apps right here. Now you have your favorites, depending on what you use the most. You can keep that right here. You can see Android Auto is one of those. You do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And then we have all of our different apps. Now you can scroll through everything right here, depending on what you need to see, what you need to find. We can also come into the individual areas. If you want media, if you want comfort, you can do that. We also have navigation, phone, vehicle. All of it's going to be here. System, just to show you real quick what is here so we don't put too much time into it. And we'll work our way down. Now, what do you think about this? I know we have the protective plastic on here, but that's just the way we got it, so we're going to leave that on there. But this is your shifter. If you're not familiar with the Pacifica, it is a rotary selector, basically, rotary shifter, and then we can push that in and go to L right there. That's low, keeps the transmission in low gear, so if you have low traction situations, you can take full advantage of all the horsepower and torque while staying in low gear. Your power parking brake right here, and then you can see some of our other controls here. If you want to turn the auto stop start on and off, you've got your park assist, all your lane keep assist, all of that stuff's going to be here. You can see what's going on, everything for the radio, volume, what you're listening to tune that. And then we have all of our AC controls here. Our front and rear window defoggers are also there. And then right down here, a little bit of storage space that's way up there. My hand barely fits all the way up there, but it's a little bit on the small side. It's deep, but it's not very tall. Wireless charging, and then we're going to have some connectivity right there. And then let me move this out of the way. Right there is the cup holders, and then we work our way back, and you can actually go right here, and that's your center console lid. You can move that out of the way, and we have our change holders right here, a little bit of storage space, more USB connectivity, and underneath that will be the 12-volt power outlet. Now, you do have the built-in armrests on these seats. As is typically the case with me, I think they're a little bit short, but for the driver, I don't think that's a big deal because they can just rest their arm on there while they're driving in some cases, depending on where things are set, and get away with that. But I do think those should be maybe a little bit longer, or have a taller center console with enough space and use that as the armrest. Here's a sampling of the Alpine audio system with 13 speakers. It does sound really good. The one thing that we were just talking about, my cameraman and I, is that basically all the stereos we listen to in all of these different vehicles that we film every single week pretty much to sound the same. They do all sound really good, but it's kind of hard to tell a difference in a lot of cases. All right, here we go on the test drive, and a couple of things to cover here that I didn't talk about earlier in the video. Number one, you do have the power adjustable seats for the driver and the passenger. Both have lumbar support. And right up here on the driver's side sun visor is going to be your home link controls. That way you can program everything in for your up to 3 garage doors, and you'll be good to go where that is concerned. As far as getting down the road, well, it's really not much different than other models out there. It's a nice, comfortable ride quality, at least based on this particular road that I'm driving on. And with available all-wheel drive, that's going to give you some advantages for those of you that need such a thing. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, the 0 to 60 will be a little bit slower with all-wheel drive than it will be with front-wheel drive. One way or another, the Pacifica does a good job of getting you down the road without any trouble. Now, I do feel like the brake pedal is a little bit on the soft side for me. Keep something in mind where that's concerned. I'm used to driving a much larger vehicle, much heavier vehicle than this, so someone else might hop inside and say, oh, that doesn't feel spongy to me at all, it doesn't feel soft. But it depends on what you're used to, so that's one thing I like to tell people. So you might think it doesn't feel that way at all. Now, acceleration, not bad. Getting down the road, I'm not really pushing it too hard because it's brand new and not broken in, but the acceleration seems to be acceptable, we'll say. It's going to do a good job of getting you where you need to be, getting up to speed, and all that good stuff. The technology here, not difficult to learn or use. That's always a good thing. You can't say that about every single vehicle out there, but I feel that with the product that we have here, that the technology is not an overload. You don't have a whole bunch of sub menus you have to go into to make different changes and do different things like that. So I don't think it's too bad. Overall, a very well balanced vehicle. I do like the ease and convenience of the stow and go seats that you're going to have here. Definitely a good minivan choice if that's something you're looking for. Is there something that is not here that you wish were? And there it is, the 2027 Chrysler Pacifica. Did Chrysler make the right changes? There weren't a lot of changes to talk about, but tell me what you think about what's going on here and what you think about the Pacifica overall. I would like to say a special thanks to our friends at Hebert's Town & Country for loaning us this Pacifica for the day so we could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give us the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's helpful to us and very much appreciated. Make sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out one of the videos that's on the screen right now, and we will see you there.